Hi everyone, it's Lee here and welcome to the channel. On the 29th of April 2024, Nier Reincarnation, which is the third Nier game that was only available on mobile, reached its end of service and is no longer playable at all. I'm sad it's gone because I really enjoyed this game and I miss playing it. There was so much more that I wanted to do, like complete each of the characters' EX stories, the recollections of Dusk, and also go through all the chapters again to collect the hidden stories and lost archives. It's also sad for gaming in general because a good game has gone and there's basically no way to play it anymore. It was a free-to-play live service mobile game with a gacha-based system, so it was most likely going to come to an end eventually, whether that be because the story comes to its natural conclusion or it gets to the point where it starts struggling financially, which in consequence would lead to the bosses at Square Enix to decide to stop supporting it, which I assume this was probably the reason why the game has ended. But I think at least there should be an offline version made available soon after the game ends, or an official statement released that reveals plans for one to come at a later date. I'm sure there are many players who have spent a lot of time and money over the past 3 years on this game, so having it taken away from us isn't right in my opinion, especially if you've paid for gems and spent them on the gacha system to unlock characters or costumes. Those players should be able to access what they've purchased. Also, if you were someone that had put in many hours grinding for materials in the past 3 years, then Square Enix should respect the time you put into that game. I understand that we all sign up and agree to the terms and conditions before we play, so we know what we are getting ourselves into, but still, it doesn't seem right. We should have an offline version. This goes for any other game that has ended and no longer is playable. I'm all for game preservation because I believe everyone should be able to have the chance to experience games that have been released in the past, including live service games. It would be a massive shame if future Nier players have no way to experience Nier Reincarnation by playing the game firsthand. Also, I'm sure there are many other players like myself that hadn't unlocked all the extra content due to starting the game late and would like to continue on enjoying the game and learning more about the lore and the characters. It would be awesome if it could get a console and PC release too. I'm sure there are many other players that refuse to play on their mobiles for their own reasons. I, for example, refused at first as I don't like playing games on my mobile because A, I'd rather play on a console, and B, they tend to destroy the mobile's battery life, and I like to preserve my battery as long as possible. So when I recently bought a new phone, I used my old one to play, as I really wanted to play Nier Reincarnation. Plus, I wasn't worried about the old phone's battery anymore. If I hadn't got a new phone, I wouldn't have played this game, and I'd still be hoping for a console version. Reflecting on this though, unfortunately, I can't see it being released on other platforms because it was different to console Nier games and was designed to be played on mobile. All the other Nier games like Nier Automata and Nier Replicant have all been action RPGs, and this game was more of an RPG or even like a walking sim / visual novel type game. For those that might be watching and not have much knowledge about the game, the core to Nier Reincarnation's main gameplay consisted of 3 modes, where you walk through and explore a linear 3D environment called the Cage with the main protagonist. Then along the route, you encounter these dark statues holding weapons called scarecrows, which you enter to experience the weapon's memory. These are narrated short stories that you walk through in a 2D side-scrolling perspective. Then inside that specific story, you enter a 3D auto-ish turn-based battle system consisting of up to 3 characters in which you need to win to complete the quest and restore the memory. So it would be weird and a very bold decision to deviate from an action RPG for the next main successor to Nier Automata. I would think that Nier fans would expect another action RPG. This is why I personally think a lot of people don't really consider Nier Reincarnation as the third Nier game, because it's seen as just a gacha mobile game and maybe don't think it's as important to play. I may be wrong on this. Let me know if I'm right or wrong in the comments. What are your thoughts? Basically, Nier Reincarnation is the official third Nier game, and it's a continuation of the Nier series because it adds to the canon of the Nier universe. Also, there has been news that Square Enix cancelled a lot of games after expecting huge losses, and in a letter they put out, it said that they're revising their approach of the development of high-definition games with the intention of being more selective and focused in the allocation of development resources. So this might not bode well for the possibility of a console version in the future. Could this affect the possibility of a new Nier title in the future too? I really hope not. Personally, I would have liked all the Drakengard games to be remastered, but I'd be very surprised if that happens after hearing this. So let's move on from that and talk about my experience with the game and give my thoughts on it overall. So I started playing around mid-January 2024 and was lucky to jump into the game when I did because a week later they announced the date of its end of service. This upset me because I wasn't expecting this at all. I just finally started the game only to be told that it wasn't going to be playable in 3 months' time. I'm the type of person that likes to play at my own pace and try to fully experience all the aspects of a game, and this put me under the pressure to get up to date with the main story as quickly as possible. However, this did come with some positives because starting late made playing the game easier. The devs were very generous by giving out extra materials and bonuses for upgrading weapons and characters during the final months. And the pull rates in the gacha system seemed to be more forgiving. So everyone could unlock different character costumes fairly easier with less gems than probably before, I guess. I would say this is just my personal opinion. Let me know in the comments below if you've been playing this game for a long time and you noticed a difference coming to the end of the game. For some reason, I had loads of coins to begin with. I have no idea why and how much, probably in the millions, but I never once got low on them as I played through it. As a free-to-play player who planned not to spend any money at all, in the first week I was doing a gift roulette where you watch 30 seconds to a minute adverts and then after you get to spin to win some gems. I found this very tedious and time consuming. Soon after the EOS announcement though, they stopped the roulette, which saved me a lot of time and pain having to go through that every day. This really made the experience better as I didn't have to waste time doing that. I found the game to be very overwhelming at the start too. There was so much content to take in. There's the main story, character stories, EX stories, recollections of Dusk, PvP arena, subjugation battles, events, dungeons, and a whole battling system to understand, like how the elements work to the character and the weapon skills. There's a lot more content that I missed out here too. To help me get to grips with the game, I joined the official Discord server, where knowledgeable players helped me out with some questions I had, and I also used the Nier Re guide, which is a terrific website put together by a team of passionate fans that holds a lot of information on the game, from guides, tier lists, character and weapon databases, and much more. It was super helpful, so I'd like to give a massive thanks to all those that made the website, and also thank those in the Discord community for their help. I thought the main story was really good and I loved the ending. I did find the stories for each character pretty short, but as you continue to progress through the 3 story arcs and unlock the extra side quests, it slowly develops each character, which helps you connect with them a little more. I like the writing, along with their respective voiceovers. You know what you're going to get with a Yoko Taro game, with thought-provoking scenarios and themes of loneliness, nihilism, friendships, love, and so on. Like, there were some heartbreaking stories, which were pretty sad. The 2D story mode had basic interaction, where you would click an exclamation mark to progress, but there were a couple of times where there was a simple interactive puzzle, like to unlock a door, for example. I wish there was a little bit more of this, throughout the game. Also, there was a callback to the gameplay mechanics of the Queen Beast battles in the Drakengard games, which I really appreciated. I found the second arc interesting because it was focused on two characters, which led to multiple endings, and it had two sides, a side A and a side B. At the beginning, you were asked a series of questions and were then given a character to start with, depending on your answers. So on the first playthrough, you went through the first part with one character, and then the second part with the other. This would make up to be one of the sides, side A. At the end, they meet and we as the player had to make a choice between two outcomes. After this ending, naturally, you would want to experience the other ending, so you would replay the story again to see that ending, but then a third option was made available to choose from, with that ending being the true ending. Side B has the characters switching places, so the character you played through in the first part now plays through what the other character experiences in the second part, and the other character experiences what the character you first played with in the first part. There wasn't anything different apart from the dialogue as you walk through the cage and some cutscenes. It was good to see how they responded to the stories that they had experienced in the Scarecrows, so I thought that was pretty cool. These multiple choices appeared a few other times throughout the game too, and this places you in the position of those characters and makes you think, what would you do in that situation, and what is the right thing or the wrong thing to do? So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I wish that I could still play because I really grew to love some of the characters and their stories, and there were others that I wanted to learn about. The music and soundtrack by Keiichi Okebe and Shotaro Seo, I hope I pronounced that right, I'm sorry if I haven't, is top quality. I've really loved the music in the Nier games, and this again is just absolutely wonderful. It really adds another layer to the emotion of the game. Also, the art style is incredible. I really love the illustrations. It's almost a well-designed game tailored for a great gaming mobile experience, but it does have some flaws. So, some of the good things are that it's very easy to use your finger on the screen to move the character through the cage and story quests. The turn-based battle system consists up to a party of 3, where they each have their own unique character skill and 2 skills from their equipped weapon. They have a base attack, which is automatic, with each of their skills dictated by cooldown timers, and once they're ready, you just simply click which ones to use. Strategy is needed, more so in the PvP arena, and more challenging game modes, like Subjugation, where you can choose when to use skills. You don't need strategy that much when going through the main story. I played the majority of the battles in auto battle and fast forward. The skills are auto selected once you have completed a certain quest, which makes life a bit easier. I think this auto battle feature is good because the devs know that you're going to be grinding for materials, and this makes it so that you can leave your mobile and get on with other things. When replaying quests, there is an option to toggle a feature to replay the battle 10 times, and this puts it into an economical mode where it lowers the frame rate and fast forwards the battle in auto so that it reduces power consumption on your mobile. So this makes grinding a little less stressful. I guess this was the devs' way to help us with the grinding, but this leads me to the flaws that come with the live service game. They want you to play the game as long as possible and grind for materials, hoping you'll spend money on gems to get characters or gain experience and level them up. This game had so many different materials that it was quite overwhelming. Each weapon type, companion and costume needed its own particular materials to level up. So to get the character and companion enhancements, you need to farm in the main quests or record events, for weapon enhancements in the guerrilla subquests and arena, jewels and skill enhancement materials in the daily subquests, and so on. It's just too much to do. I just feel this was just added into the game to keep the retention of players, and I can see why this would put a lot of players off the game. It's not fun grinding. I didn't fully get to grips with how the weapon and character skills work too. There are so many different skills and passives that make each weapon and costume unique, which come with their own strengths and weaknesses. I tried looking in the help section in the game's main menu, but it was too much to take in and I got overwhelmed. I just wanted to play the game. I do like that there was this depth to the game, but I question whether it was too complicated for a mobile game. It was great that Applebot finished the story of the game before it ended, but I did have an issue with some of the last content to be released, because it was only in Japanese with English subtitles. It seemed like Applebot had limited financial support, and the way to save money was to go without the English voiceovers. I think they had started doing this a couple of months before the EOS announcement, so it was a big indication that the game was going to come to an end. So overall, I really enjoyed my time playing Nier Reincarnation. I think that if I had started playing when it was released, I don't think my overall experience would have been as positive because of the grinding for materials and the gacha system. I could see myself getting fed up with that side of the game pretty quickly. A negative to starting the game so late was that I couldn't finish all the extra character stories and content before the game ended. Plus, I don't think it was possible for me to get the specific rare materials that were needed to unlock some of the extra stories. So I will have to search for that content on YouTube and watch it there, or read them on the Nier Re website, because they have all the stories written up there. If you're a fan of the Nier Drakengard series, and you didn't get to play this, I would definitely recommend you go and watch the playthroughs on YouTube. Let's hope we get an offline version for all platforms. I don't want this to be the final farewell to Nier Reincarnation. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. See ya.